Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Corner. You know, I always say Andy's Corner is that happy little place in the world where we sit back and talk about all things heating and air. And have you ever been thinking about getting into the HVAC trade itself? Then these are the videos for you. I wanted to do a short series with a couple different videos about some of the things that are involved with the trade itself, and maybe there's some inspiring heating and air techs coming up that are either getting started or want to get started, have some questions on different things. I want to do a few videos about different salaries, different things that I wish I would have known before I started, and some of the responsibilities you have and all that kind of stuff. So if you're thinking about doing heating and air, or you know somebody, or if maybe you're looking for a new job out there and you don't know what heating and air is all about, this is the place. So be sure to subscribe, like, and share as many times as you can on all your social media outlets, and get ready for the next video. Hey guys, I'm glad you joined me today. Today is video number 2 in the short series we were doing here about what it takes to be a heating and air tech. If we have some young techs out there that are aspiring to move up in the trades, or if we have people looking for a new profession or looking for a trade to get into, something like that, I can definitely say heating and air is the place to be. I may be a little biased on that because I am in the heating and air industry, and I have been, and I do enjoy it. So my opinion may be a little bit biased, but there are a lot of things in this series that I want people to know before they get into it. Because a lot of times people say, oh yeah, heating and air, that sounds like the right thing, I can do that. And then they get into the trade and realize they don't like it. Well, at that point, they've wasted money on any kind of schooling, on tools, all kinds of stuff. And then all of a sudden, it just comes up as a waste. So, you know, I do like for everybody to kind of understand what they're getting into. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the responsibilities that heating and air technicians, or whatever position you have in the heating and air industry, because there are a lot of HVAC positions. We have service techs. You know, I'm a service tech. I've been a service tech a long time. That's what I like to do. You know, I will always be a service tech at heart, no matter what I do in the future. But there's also installers. I did install equipment, residential equipment, when I first started. I did a little bit of sales for a while. You know, there's a lot of different ones out there, because everybody always thinks, well, I'm either going to be an installer or I'm going to be a service tech. There's a lot more in there, because you've got the sales guys, you've got engineers, you've got designers, some of the big jobs, you know, you've got the foremans, crew leaders, all these different things out there. And then in the individual ones like install or service, well, there's all kinds of service techs out there. You got residential techs, commercial techs, a little bit of both. You've got refrigeration, ammonia techs, control techs, and installers the same way. So there's a lot of different options out there. There's not just, I'm going to be doing install or I'm going to be doing service work. A lot of guys do start out doing install work, which I think personally, I think is a good place to start. I think you get kind of a basis of where everything's at and how it kind of works. And then you can move into some of the repairs, diagnostics, and all that kind of stuff. But either way, as far as the responsibilities, and a lot of this stuff is designed more for service techs, because that's what I am and that's what I do every day. But, you know, some of the responsibilities that we have out there is, you know, for one, like service techs, we work alone a lot of times. There are companies out there that have 2-man service crews, especially in some of the commercial stuff. And then even in some of the smaller residential, you know, you may have a 2-man crew, but majority of actual service techs that go out and diagnose problems, that kind of thing, or if you're a maintenance tech, usually we work alone. So you do have to be able to do that. You know, which I have met guys that they have a hard time working alone, just for the fact that, you know, they like that companionship every day. We don't always have that as service techs. Installers, a lot of times they're 2-man crews. We do work by ourselves sometimes, but, you know, a lot of times you're at least 2-man crew on an install. So, you know, look into that kind of idea and think about what you like to do before you really make your decision on which outlet you want to go. So, you know, that's one of the big things I like for everybody to know. And then paperwork. We have mass amounts of paperwork. Everybody thinks that we just go out and we fix a furnace, we fix an air conditioner. It's like, oh yeah, the office will send you all the paperwork. Most contractors don't work like that anymore. There probably are still a few. Pretty much anything I say in any of these videos, you know, there's variations out there of everything. So there may be some companies out there that, yeah, you just go fix the problem, talk to the homeowner or the client, whoever it is, and then the office sends them everything. Most contractors that I talk to anymore, especially a lot of the bigger ones. Usually the technician takes care of a lot of the paperwork. We have to make sure we document all of our numbers, record all of those. Those are very important numbers. I know techs don't like doing that a lot of times, but those numbers do come in handy if we need to see something in the future. What was this unit doing 6 months ago? What was this system doing a year ago? That kind of thing. So we have to be able to make sure we write all those numbers down. A lot of companies have gone to iPads or tablets of some sorts, laptops, whatever. There is a lot of that out there. But a lot of contractors still do paper form. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it either way. I've talked to technicians that have preferences on one or the other. Me personally, I'm a little old-fashioned. I do like the paperwork, the actual handwritten hard copy stuff, but tablets do make our job so much easier. We have to be able to type all that in there. But then a lot of times, you're connected to the office, to the system that's there, depending on what kind of software they have, and it just shoots all your numbers, all your information, model numbers, pictures, whatever you want. We do live in a digital age, so we need to make sure we can get all that to the office, and the digital form does make everything way easier. So I'm kind of torn half on half. I like both, but it is what it is. So, we have to be able to handle all that paperwork. We have to be very accurate with everything that we write down. We have to make sure that we are getting the information correctly. So that is one thing, a lot of people don't think about as far as the responsibilities. You have to be able to do that paperwork. And the other thing, one that I did want to talk about, which is a big one to me, because I talk to so many people that get into heating and air and then realize, oh man, you guys actually get dirty. I don't like to get dirty. Well, I'm sorry, suck it up, Buttercup, because there are days where we get dirty. I don't care if you're an installer, a service tech, any kind of technician out there, you're going to get dirty once in a while. Install guys, I have a lot of respect for the install guys, because I don't personally want to crawl around underneath the house all day long. If I do have to get in a crawl space or an attic or whatever, normally it's for a short burst at a time. We don't normally have full days and maybe multiple days and stuff like that. Installers do sometimes. So that is one thing to think about. There are conditions and places that we don't want to go to. Most houses in my area, and I know other areas are different. Sometimes there's areas that you don't have crawl spaces. It's all basements, or it's just on a concrete slab or whatever, or maybe everything's in the attic, or whatever. But, we do have crawl spaces we have to get into. They're dark, they're dirty, they're nasty. Sometimes there's bugs, sometimes there's snakes, sometimes there's all kinds of things that we don't want to really have to mess with, but that is unfortunately one of those things that we do. Same as attics. We do get into a lot of attics. Depending on your area, you may have more or less. In our area here, it's kind of mixed, half and half. We do have some attics, but most of the equipment, everybody tries to keep out of the crawl space in the attic here, just because we do have a lot of basements as well. And also we try to keep it on the main floor of the house. The equipment itself, maybe the ductwork is in the crawl space, ductwork's in the attic, whatever. There is equipment in both those places too. It just kind of depends on the job. But attics, they get hot in the summertime. They get real hot. So you have to make sure you are capable of climbing up into the attic as well as moving through the attic without going through the ceiling. I know a guy that just not too long ago, I don't know if he watches these videos or not, but not too long ago, he came through an attic or through the ceiling into the main part of the house, had a misstep of some sorts. So that is disastrous. So you need to make sure you are at least nimble enough to crawl across the rafters and stuff like that. Don't stick your foot through a ceiling. That's a horrible ordeal all around. And also it gets hot in attics. I mean, it gets real hot in the summertime, definitely in this area, and you get further south, man, it gets smoking hot up there. It is not comfortable. It is not fun. It is awful, but normally we can get in and we can get out. Like where I work, we try to do most of the attic work, in the summertime. We try to do most of that early morning or at night, or if there's any kind of work that can be done spring and fall rather than mainstream summer, we try to do that. So, a lot of companies do try to prepare for that. It just depends on where you're at, but it is out there. So it's one of those things that we do have to deal with. Just same as, the hot attics, we also have the elements to deal with. Make sure you understand that, we do work outside a lot of times. So there's rain, there's snow, there is cold, there is heat. lightning, all these kind of things. You know, we have to be safe, obviously. If there's all kinds of lightning going on and everything, I wouldn't be hanging out next to the air conditioner personally, but, you know, that does come up. So you have to make sure you're watching for the elements. If it's hot outside or if it's hot all the time where you're at, you know, be careful. We have to watch the heat. It does get too hot on us sometimes. Drink lots of water, take breaks, whatever you got to do, you know, stay safe out there. But the heat is something we have to deal with, just the same as the cold is something we have to deal with. You know, further north of here, man, those guys are in the cold all the time. And me personally, I would take the heat over the cold, but that's just me. We have a pretty good mix of both here where I'm at. I'm pretty happy with our area because we see all the seasons, we see all the elements and everything, but it's not permanent. You know, some places it's hot all the time, some places it's cold all the time. It's just one of those things we have to deal with. So you have to make sure you're aware of, you know, the elements where you're going to work. You know, some guy from down south, he's going to have a big change in climate if he decides to go do heating and air in Alaska, or something like that. You know, it's going to be a big difference. So you need to make sure you're aware of that. If you're going to work in your area, then you already know what it is. So, you know, be prepared. You know, have a good rain suit. I wear Frog Togs. I'm not sponsored by Frog Togs. If anybody does see that, I'm cool with being sponsored by Frog Togs, because I do wear those, and mine gets plenty of use. We do see a lot of rain around here, so the Frog Togs come out pretty often. Make sure you buy a good pair of Let's try that again. If you haven't noticed in some of my videos, my brain sometimes works faster than my mouth can, or maybe it's the other way around. It's probably the other way around, but either way, I was trying to say, make sure you have a good rain suit. You know, you need to make sure you are prepared for the elements, warm clothes, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of different things as far as our responsibilities that we have to do, but one of the big ones I also see is we have to be able to communicate. We have to be able to talk with the office. We have to be able to talk with our clients out there, and we have to be nice. I've got a couple other videos out there as far as how to deal with clients, and actually I think I've got a write-up on my blog about you know, what type of clients you have and understanding who they are and all that kind of stuff. We have to be able to communicate with them. If you're not a person that can naturally be nice, or you can't naturally communicate with people, you might have a hard time with this profession, or at least maybe with the service side of things. Maybe you do better with install. Hey, that's okay. You know, you can go do that, or maybe you can find an office job in heating and air, but you still have to be able to deal with the people that you work with. So, you know, communication is a very, very big element to that, and a very big responsibility that I see technicians need to be able to handle whenever they go into heating and air, just because it is there. We talk to a lot of people, and you have to be able to do it. So, you know, there's a lot more responsibilities out there as far as, you know, being able to fix things, being able to drive around and go from job to job and get the job done and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, those are some of the main points that I see that I think everybody should make sure they are capable of doing before they decide to do heating and air. And I am by no means knocking the profession in any fashion, obviously. But I want people to understand what they're getting into. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, make sure you leave them in the comment box below. I love to hear what everybody thinks about the videos, or maybe they have something to say about heating and air in their area. You never know. There could be somebody watching the video that reads the comments and sees this stuff and gives them a little bit of information. So, you know, help me out, and you know, let people know what's going on in your area, and definitely subscribe. You know, if you are subscribed already, I want to say thank you. If you're not, please do so. There are more videos to come out in this series, and I've got all kinds of videos on the channel of different variety. So, you know, just check it out. Make sure you hit the bell icon. That way you get notifications every time a new video comes out. Thank you, and God bless.